Frank, there's a lot more at stake here than just one town.
No. I'm out.
Whoever breaks this, they're in for some big gains. Maybe even win back something. But actually...
Ugh. How am I even sweating this much? It doesn't even make sense. Alrighty. What game are we doing today? Alright. Dead Rising 4 is a third-person survival horror game that was developed by Capcom and published by Microsoft. The game released on Windows and Xbox December of 2016. The game was then published by Capcom for a PlayStation 4 release and released a year later. Frank West, now a college professor, joins a college student in investigating a military compound in Willamette, Colorado, where the first game took place. Turns out that the compound is involved in zombie research, and when Frank gets seen, he goes on the run. Not too soon after, a zombie outbreak happens at the Willamette Mall on Black Friday, and Frank West goes to investigate. Just so you get a good idea of how the game was received, here are some scores from the bigger spots on the internet. Metacritic 72 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Game Informer 8.75 out of 10. GameSpot 7 out of 10. IGN 8.1 out of 10. Anyways, the score I'm giving Dead Rising 4 on the PlayStation 4 is a 7.5 out of 10. And here are some of the reasons why I gave it that score.
You're gonna die, bitch.
Oops, that's a letter that I'm writing to my father.
I see.
My bad. Yeah.
Okay, that's the number. Good, thank you.
Truth is, the reasons I gave the score I did was only because of two things. Fun gameplay and lame narrative. First off, one of the biggest changes to the series was that they got rid of the timer, and it was a surprisingly polarizing issue. I remember like a lot of people were bitching and moaning about that. I think it was an improvement. It gave you more time to fool around, which is basically what Dead Rising is all about. The time limit was, well, it was a limit to what you could do. Yeah. It's hard to really make use of all the features in a Dead Rising game when there's a big, blatant time limit on your screen telling you, sure, you can go fuck around, but don't forget, you have actual shit to do, so don't waste your time having fun. See how that doesn't really vibe? Without the time limit and now the new massive map, the world is your playground. Which leads me to another gameplay improvement, the size of the game. From what I played, which is a Dead Rising 1 and from what I played, which is Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2, the world is huge, and when you're free roaming, it's seamless. There are no more pesky loading screens for each part of the mall. A bigger world also means more hordes of zombies and more shit to use. The game also has improved in terms of mechanics like shooting and creating combo weapons. The game is silly, but all in all, it's just a lot of fun to just sit down after a long day's work and just mow down a few hundred zombies.
You're gonna die, bitch.
Oops, that's a letter that I'm writing to my father.
I see.
My bad. Yeah.
Okay, that's the number. Good, thank you.
While the gameplay is a lot of fun and simple, the narrative is lacking. The story of you investigating the military or some mercenary group behind a zombie outbreak is pretty lame. The government fucked up is a story as old as time. In this game, you're a journalist who's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Alright, cool. I never heard that story before. The cast of characters never raise an eyebrow. They kind of just drift in and out of existence throughout your journey. They'll help you out or fuck something up, but they'll never impress you. There's nothing that really keeps you going in the story. Frank West is dumb as fuck, but he's entertaining. His constant wisecracking reminds me of when I hang out with my breast friend. My best friend. When we go to stuff like Halloween Horror Nights and shit like that, or we watch a scary movie, Frank West might constantly stare at death in the face, but that won't stop him from shit talking him either, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
that's great. That's just fucking great, man.
This is probably my shortest review in recent memory, but that's because my thoughts on this game are clear cut. Gameplay wise, this game is functional, mindless fun. On the other hand, though, there isn't any actual substance to the narrative. Much like Fallout 4, this game is better for the experience than for the actual story. Anyways, for me, Dead Rising 4 gets a 7.5 out of 10.